What's up, everybody? This is Brandon from the BeerDad and Brewed podcast. Thanks to everyone for listening to the show. Quick programming note for today's episode. Throughout the show, you'll hear us cut away from the main interview a few times to hear BeerDad interviewing some of the artists at HopCon 23. Just wanted everyone to be clear as we dive into the show. Hope y'all enjoy. Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the BeerDad and Brew podcast. As always, I am your host, the BeerDad himself, Justin Allen, and I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Brandon Rice. What's up, buddy? What are you doing?
Hey, man. I'm just trying to set up this camera here so that we can, get a nice little video component to the show. But excited to be here. We're at Hopnonymous.
That's right. We
Brewing
are
Company.
at Hopnonymous Brewing
San
Company.
Diego or San Diego, as some folks call it.
My hometown, Mirror Mesa, the Mecca, represent. Yay, yay. Marauders, class of 2001. Had to throw that out there. I don't live down here anymore, but I love coming down to visit because I miss it dearly. It's just too expensive to live down here anymore. But you are right. We are at Hopnonymous Brewing in San Diego, California. We are in a Claremont Mesa, right off of Convoy. Easy to get to, right off the 52. For those of you that don't know, but we're at a very special event at Hopnonymous. We were at HopCon 23, something really cool. You guys are going to be hearing interviews later with some of the artists that are part of HopCon and some of the vendors. Something that was set up by Matt, who's also joining us. This is it's an art show slash action figures slash comics slash food slash beer. Like, what an amazing experience for San Diegans to come and check out. And so far it seems really successful. So good job, Matt. And welcome to the show. We are also joined by CeCe. CeCe, how you doing?
Hi everyone. I'm doing good. The sun finally came out for a little bit, so I'm stoked.
That's
yes,
awesome. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. Us San Diegans, we know a little bit about June gloom. It's been kind of got the May gray and the June gloom, and it's been kind of gloomy, but today's a beautiful day. I mean, people are out. There's tons of people here. I see them out here enjoying. There's someone getting their caricature done. There's people eating some tacos.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is a dope experience. Like, you really put something together, Matt, that I think is going to catch on here in San Diego. So great job.
Justin and I had the pleasure of getting to sample a couple of beers when we rolled in here before we got onto the mic with you guys.
What did you guys have?
I started out with actually like the Imperial Stout, which is a crazy place to start. But I told because Justin was like, he kind of raised an eyebrow at me, and I was like, look, man, it's the weather, like. Yeah,
dude,
I
totally.
just felt like it was a great place
I don't
to start.
like to judge, but sometimes, when you're just starting out like myself, it's like, let's see, what kind of lagers or pilsners can I find? Keep it light.
Yeah,
before we do our show and start recording and stuff like that. But then he was like, I got a stout. I was like, whoa.
You dove right in. Into a 12%.
BeerDad's the smart one of the two of us. But anyway, it was really good. It was honestly really beautiful beer. Like, the vanilla bean was like just perfectly blended in there, and it wasn't like too boozy. Like, I just felt like just starting off with that beer, I felt great. And then, gosh, I moved on to the hazy New Zealand hopped beer.
Connection.
Yeah, that was
So
really good. Beautiful color to it. Great, like little like pillowy mouthfeel, but honestly, like way more crushable than I thought it was gonna be. 7.1. Okay, yeah, it's a great,
That New Zealand, so that one has Nelson and Nectaron hops. Nectaron hops, it's kind of like a newer, like Revolution blend, something they're doing. It's one of my favorites so far. It's so good. Anything New Zealand that we make, I'm all for. So that one's one of my favorites right now.
Cool, yeah, I really loved them. And then we tried, Justin and I had together, we had the Mexican lager. That's one of your guys' best sellers, or the best seller at the...
Yes, that's definitely a top favorite here. Every time I drink that beer, it makes me want like chips and guac, ceviche, like laying out at the beach, like on a hammock. That's what I envision every time I take a sip.
Yeah, so. Jay, what'd you think of it?
So as you take a sip, think about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things, the styles of beers that I like, but it was just super refreshing and just, like you say, sitting on a beach, sitting on a boat, or doing dad stuff, you know, pushing the lawnmower, pushing the stroller.
Totally.
Yeah, totally up my alley. So I definitely appreciated that one.
There you go.
What's up, everybody? We are here. We're going to talk to one of our first artists, and we are here with Mark Desalvo.
Each piece has a different story. A lot of them are painted for record covers, CD covers, different bands. So it definitely depends on which piece we're talking about.
Okay.
But like here's a band called Pulley. Their latest album, which came out last year. It's a banger. This was the front cover, and that's the back cover. This one I just finished. The actual album came out just last month. A band called Take 5. They're from Austin. High school kids, but I really liked the music they sent me, and thought it'd be fun to work with them. And yeah, I really like the album. It's my buddy Matt Hansley. He's in a band called Floggin' Molly. Don't know if they're awesome. They were doing some art shows along with their tour, and for I think there were 4 or 5 shows through California that they had the art show going on with. And they raised a bunch of money. I have prints of this as well, but this is the original. All of these are original acrylics on canvas. I do have prints and stuff over there, some of the older stuff I've done. But yeah, newer stuff, I've been painting just on acrylics and canvas and stuff. So
How long have you been an artist, and what got you into it?
My mom gave me crayons and watercolors as a kid instead of G.I. Joes, I guess. So
good mom.
So it's been that long. I think all kids like to draw and paint. I think when you get into middle school and high school and peer pressure becomes a thing, a lot of people don't want to expose themselves to ridicule by being artistic or being creative. You tend to conform, and if you're better at basketball, you play basketball. If you're better at math and science, maybe you focus on books. And I just kept drawing and painting, and ended up going to art school. Left Reno, where I grew up, in '89 to go to art school in San Francisco. Got there and it was way too expensive, so I just started bartending. But after a while, I was like, I'm gonna bite the bullet, find some student loans and stuff, and put myself through art school. And then, it was just the things I was into. I was into, fun, fast music, skateboarding. I started pursuing doing art for skateboard companies I rode for. Yeah. I did a cover for Thrasher, got lucky and did that. Bands that I liked, I would just send them handwritten notes saying, hey, I'm an artist, let me do work for you. And got lucky. Fat Mike called me up from NoFX and had me working on some stuff. And he owns Fat Records, so a bunch of his other bands started hitting me up, and I've just kept at it. I'm always looking for new bands, new music to listen to, and if I like it and they like my stuff, I'm always willing to work. I guess I try to work within any band or label's budget, so I think a lot of people become unaffordable. You look at artists like Coop or Eric White were doing lots of CD covers back in the day, but they're kind of unaffordable now, maybe. Yeah. Well, at least for, young upstart punk bands, I'm still cheap, so.
That's awesome that you do that. I'm sure they definitely appreciate it, and you're amazingly talented. I'm looking at all these pictures, as well as you got some skateboard decks over here as well, and it definitely shows, a testament to your talent when you look at stuff up here, and CD covers, and just something that you could literally just hang on your wall, like especially if you're into, like you said, skateboarding and punk rock and stuff like that. I could definitely see the appeal. So I hope you have a successful HopCon here and sell some art. Yeah, awesome.
Get to meet some fun people.
Absolutely, yeah.
I also do like this size painting here, the 12 by 12.
Yeah.
This 11 by 14. I do commissions. Basically, you send me a photo that you like, and I might make some changes. I might leave it how it is, depending on, what I think will make it a better image. But for $300 a pop, you can get a Mark Desalvo original of a picture that you already like. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, have a good HopCon, and like I said, much success. And you're a very talented artist. So, cheers.
I also like the Daddios, our pale ale. And Daddios just recently got a bronze medal at the SD Beer Awards, as well as our
congratulations.
Well, that wasn't me. I just pour them.
Well, hey, as part of
You're
the team.
a part of it.
Yeah.
Everybody's a part of the team.
I got it to the consumer with the CeCe.
That's right.
But and another fact I'm proud of here is Hunter and Remy crank out a new beer every Friday. It's rare that they miss a Friday, and if they do, you got 2 beers coming next week, Wednesday, Friday. So
he stays busy.
I say that to people, and they're just amazed at that fact.
Yeah, that's a crazy output, man.
Yes, it is.
Shit.
And we just have a 7-barrel system. I was showing it to my friends who worked with me at Green Flash the other day and last week. They came by, and they're like, what? This is it? And I'm like, this is it. And,
I was going to say, compared to Green Flash and the output that they were doing there in Mira Mesa, my former hometown, a lot larger scale for sure than here. So
Yes.
Hunter's putting in some work.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're very proud of him.
He's always working, always.
Yeah.
That's why I'm stoked.
That's awesome. I actually just saw him featured San Diego Beer News, a portrait of the brewer.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brandon Hernandez from San Diego Craft Beer News.
Yeah.
Good dude. But yeah, that was really cool to see a feature with Hunter. So good for him. And he's been on the map. You're starting to hear, Hopnonymous out there more and more. You guys have done a lot of collabs and different things with different people in the brewing industry, and it's cool to start seeing it out there. I mean, the company's definitely exponentially grown since opening, and I was telling Matt here, like, the last time that I came was during COVID and picking up from the door over there. So it's been a while since I've been here, but it's really cool to be in this inside the brewery with people and watching people enjoy themselves and stuff like that. So it's really cool to flash forward from the last time I was here to now. But man, talk about growing. I mean, the growth of this place. I mean, it went from someone mentioned Hopnonymous to they'd be like, what is that? Is it a brewery? Where is it at? Right? To now, like, I'd say just about every San Diegan, if they were into craft beer and you asked them Hopnonymous, they'd be like, oh yeah, down there in Claremont Mesa off of Convoy. Yeah, no problem. Right? So they know where it's at. It's definitely been put on the map. And you guys do a good job when it comes to, like, with pop culture, with the San Diego Padres, different things that you guys do that can infuse with art and stuff here for San Diegans. So you guys are doing a great job.
It's just crazy, just from, like, even me being here for 2 years from when I first started to seeing the difference now and the amount of people that come in, like, on a Friday or Saturday. I'm like, oh my God, like, we need more barrels, we need more chairs. Like, it's crazy. We can barely, like, keep up with the amount of people that come in on a weekend compared to, like, just 2 years ago. Is pretty crazy to me.
It's something as owner, and I'm sure Remy can attest to this, is like when you start a brewery, like, you have your goal in mind, but I'm sure probably right now what he's seeing is surpassing those goals and outgrowing what he's built here. And myself as a fledgling brewery owner myself that just launched my brand a couple weeks ago. I see that too. Like, I know there's an end goal of what you think you would like your brewery to be, and then your humble beginnings and where you start. Like, I don't even have a tap room yet. I just have, luckily for me, I got beers on the shelf, but tap room coming shortly. But it's like, you picture it, you envision it, and then you outgrow it. And so hopefully, for you guys, I can actually see you moving into a bigger spot or knocking out another wall and taking over.
No kidding. That's happening soon.
Good.
Can you guys get into a little bit about how Hopnonymous got started? I know Matt, like, maybe without Remy or Hunter here, might not be able to tell the full story, but maybe a little bit of it.
I was going to tell, instead of the beginning, I was going to jump on a tail end part, which was, I'll let CeCe do the rest, but, you were here from the very beginning. So Remy got the building. He had to wait about, I think, 6 months to get everything okayed before he could brew. Once they got that running, Hunter was here. They're open for 2 months. In December, COVID hits. So he only had a 2-month window to capture people. And he luckily brought the canning machine before all that happened. So he relied on people like you coming up to the door. Because you couldn't open the bay door. And they're just coming up to the door, and he had a table out there asking the beer you want, and here's your 32-ounce growler. So that's how he built it. And yeah, like you said, today you look around and he wishes he could be here today.
So he's just doing 32-ounce growlers. Like it wasn't even like 16 ounce. Like you couldn't even get like a 4-pack.
Shout out to those growler machines.
That's amazing.
Man. That seriously is what like saved the brewery. Like who knows if we would have still been here if it wasn't for everybody coming
for sure.
in.
I mean, that's the difference between like the breweries that were able to make it through COVID.
For sure.
You know, like I've heard so many stories, such as like when you just shared, Matt, of like, we just had to kind of close the doors, offer to go, get the crowler, game up a little bit, and
it was one of those things where you see the writing on the wall, and I think he did. Is like, I got to have this crowler machine because there were so many breweries during the pandemic that shut down or just shortly after had to shut down because they weren't ready for stuff like that. Especially a small brewery like this. I can think of probably at least a dozen just off the top of my head, and I won't say any names, but it was unfortunate. Whereas then you have other breweries that were like, I see what's happening, and they would buy a canning line. They would extend themselves, like, we'll see how this works, but I think this is the way it goes. Like King's Brewing, mentioned them earlier. Jeremiah was super smart in that, and he was like, we're going to increase our output and just focus heavily on to-go, and they had lines down the street every single weekend on a release and would sell out of things super quick. He's probably, he's very proud to say he was in the black during the pandemic, which is, almost unheard of. And to hear stories like that, success stories like this, I mean, imagine opening and very shortly after opening, here's the pandemic, and so Remy did a good job at, doing what he needed to do, and people supporting. I'm sure you were supporting by drinking and grabbing those growlers, and my brother that still lives down here in San Diego as well, I'm pretty sure he came over and grabbed some growlers too. It's good to see, and then now it's good to see real people in the tap room and how crowded it is, and everybody's enjoying beers and enjoying HopCon. This is really, really cool. So,
did you want to hear kind of the origin of Hopnonymous?
Yeah, we have to. We gotta hear about it.
CeCe? Do you know? I know a little bit. Do you know?
Wait, tee us up. Can you guys tee us up on another beer as you tell us the
story?
Yeah.
So let's see. So we have one of our newest ones, My Dear Watson. So it's our brown ale, which you're not really seeing a whole lot of. I know a Great Flash.
That's the very first time we've ever brewed a brown ale too, and
to one of you, whoever wants
that.
It
is delish. I'm normally not a brown drinker when it came out because got to do my job, got to try them all. And I tried. I was like, oh fuck, sorry.
No, you're good. We are 21 plus, so the F-bombs are okay.
Whoa, CeCe.
Whoa. Do we have a bar of soap somewhere?
I was like, damn, this beer is actually really good.
But you heard it here, folks. For somebody to just drop an F-bomb about how good a beer is, you probably need to try it.
That's damn right.
It's really good.
Right.
Like, I've been telling people come in and they want a red, and I'm like, I don't have a red on tap right now, but please, check this out. And
try
brown. Pint after pint after pint.
Trying it now, I can see why the F-bomb. Yeah. And I tell you, so what's really cool is brown ales are far and few between. Not a lot of breweries are making them, but I can appreciate stuff like that. I like the rare things that aren't made too often by breweries. And brown is one of those things as a brewer. It's an easy, fun brew to make, and I love that the nutty quality that you get out of a brown. It's super crisp and it's different. It's not your run of the mill lager, pilsner, you're getting a lot more flavor compound. And of course, for me, loving lagers and pilsners and stuff like that, but used to be a huge barrel-aged stout guy. But as I got older, I just can't drink them anymore. I'll still partake if I'm sharing. But that's what I love, this style of beer, or maybe a dark lager. I love, where you can get a lighter, easier drinking beer, but have those flavor components that you usually get in a stout or a porter. So this is a really good job. I like it.
For sure. Just like you say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also poured the Got Integrity, our San Diego Take IPA. Do you want to try that one?
Ooh, yeah. Whenever. Right. Hey, we're at your mercy here, Matt. Whatever you think we need to try.
Go ahead. I'll let you slide in there.
That brown ale was really special, though. Yeah.
And then I got CeCe's favorite, the Big
It's
Fundamental.
so much more complex than your normal brown ale. Like, I like brown ales, but I feel like they're very straightforward. That is not a straightforward beer at all. There's so much nuance to it. I know it sounds a little pretentious, but like, yeah, like Justin was saying, like the nuttiness, but there's like that caramely, and it's kind of hoppier than I'm used to with the brown ale. Like, that's really good.
I like that.
And it's only 5.6. It's crusher.
Exactly.
Super easy.
So you can drink it.
So
no
then
problem.
we're also doing the dank IPA.
Yeah, the God Tegrity. If anybody saw the South Park episode, you know Tegrity Farms. Hunter obviously saw that, and then the next day was like, all right, I have our name for our next beer. And we ended up canning that one, so we had 4 packs of it for a little bit. And those went so fast. Yeah. And then we brought it back. And
I can see why.
On top, right? Yeah.
That's a San Diego beer right there.
Oh, yeah. It's delicious.
The hop heads. Super floral on the aroma, and you got all those nice hop characteristics. And what's really cool about it, lots of flavor. And usually with beers like this, well, back in the day, the Green Flash days, right? You get those beers that would just punch you in the face and that lingering hop burn on your tongue. And this one rinses nice and clean. You know, right? Yeah, those days. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. What was the name of that Green Flash beer with the... What was it called? It was super...
Since they don't exist anymore, I don't mind talking about this. Which one?
The one that was like super famous for being like just the most ridiculously hopped beer.
Oh, I got it. Palate Wrecker. Gnarly. Gnarly,
Yeah, Palate Wrecker.
And that was actually that was my introduction to the beer industry. I had drank Green Flash beers than before. I volunteered at Taco Beer Fest because I love both.
Yeah.
No money, but all you could eat, all you could drink. So I go down there and I look on the list, and this was in 2019, and I saw Green Flash. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna volunteer for that booth. And that's how they liked me and they hired me as brand ambassador. That's how I got in. But that Palate Wrecker was the first beer I was drinking that day, which I already had a few before I got to the booth. So I was real loose, and they liked my personality. Ooh. But Palate Wrecker put me on the edge that day, and it was a good time. But that's not my typical beer, though. It's not.
Oh, for sure.
We don't like stuff like that. But Tegrity is filled with Citra, Citra Cryo, and Citra Incognito. So it's just Citra 3 ways. It's delicious. It's one of my favorites, too.
What is Citra Incognito? Do you guys know?
It's just variants of the Citra. So you said Citra Cryo, right? And then Incognito, and what was the other one?
Just Citra.
Citra. So Citra 3 ways, or the triple threat of Citra. So just different variants of Citra. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, it's delicious.
And then we also brought you the Big Fundamental.
The Big Fundamental, my personal favorite. I'm telling everybody about, which you shouldn't because then it's going to be gone. But I want everyone to drink it.
And what kind of beer is that?
Big Fundamental is a New Zealand IPA.
Yes.
It's loaded with Simcoe, Citra, and Nelson Sauvin. That Nelson, man.
Nelson.
Yeah. So you guys have
anytime we do Nelson.
So there's 2 New Zealand style kind of beers on tap.
So we have a hazy and then like a West Coast New Zealand.
Got it.
New Zealand hops have really taken off and gotten
totally
insane in the industry.
That's good.
Most breweries now, if they haven't brewed with New Zealand, they're brewing with New Zealand now. Right. It's just a big deal, and we had some great beers with some New Zealand hops up at Noble.
Have you brewed with it yet?
Not on the commercial side, but home brewing. Yes,
good,
yeah. Good. So and I love the different notes that you can get out of the. Well, I mean, they're all different, but some of those hops will give you like that stone fruit flavor. Some of them just like wild, like you're like how we talk about what is it, Phantasm or whatever, the hop juice.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, there's no juice in a beer. None, zero, but it tastes like you're drinking a juicy beer. You know what I mean? It's just weird how they've come. And one of these days, bucket list, I would love to go to New Zealand and test out some of their breweries and go to the hop farms and just check it out because, well, that, and I'm also a weirdo and I like to swim with sharks. So
I did too. I had a cage.
I want to see some New Zealand great whites. So the wife's not really a fan of that idea, but whatever.
So fun, though.
Hey, you just... I feel like all you got to do is just use the new beer brand as an excuse. Like, hey, this
marketing.
is New Zealand.
Got to buy some hops. Buy some hops.
But Matt, I so rudely cut you off. You were going to tell us the beautiful story about Hopnonymous getting started.
Okay, I'll do the best I
love
know
it.
of.
We'll take it.
We might put some soap opera music in the background.
Okay, there we go. Or Magnum PI, we'll figure it out. That's a reference for Remy. So Remy was brewing beer himself, and he was providing it to restaurants in San Diego. He was unknown. He was telling the places, you can name it Antonio's Lager or whatever, if that's the name of the restaurant. So he had Japanese restaurants, sushi restaurants, Italian restaurants, and they would most of the time name it after the restaurant.
Right.
So the waiters and the waitresses were like, "Who's this French guy that keeps dropping off the beer? I thought you guys made the beer. Who's the what's going on here?" Because the place is like, "Yeah, this is our beer."
Right.
So Remy, they were the ones, and Remy's friends and his clients were encouraging him, "You need to do your own brewery because these are too damn good or too effing good."
Totally.
So that was his goal, and that's what got him to go. That's where the name comes from. He was anonymous, and he kind of liked being behind the scenes, but they were dragging him into the spotlight. So he decided to do the brewery, name it Hopnonymous. It's kind of a tricky name to say, but people get it after a while.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning that I know of.
That was in 2018. Yeah.
Okay.
Before the brewery even opened.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people come and they see like our classes and it says Hopnonymous since 2018. And they're like, "I thought you guys were open till." And then we have to like, "Well, this is what happened."
See what had happened.
That was the prequel.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Every good comic story has a prequel. Right?
Yeah.
The origin story.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then also Remy, a lot of people think the logo is Remy's actual face,
I mean,
but it's
it
not.
kind of is.
It does look like him a little bit.
It looks like the anonymous vigilante mask. What was that?
Well, it's sort
V
of
for Vendetta.
V for Vendetta.
So he's a V for Vendetta fan.
Yeah.
Guy Fawkes is the character
Guy
from
Fawkes,
real life.
He's French, so yeah, and he's got like a little mustache.
Yeah.
going on.
Exactly.
I think it's right.
And then also Remy is a fan of hackers, and they've adopted that
Anonymous,
mask.
yeah.
Right.
And so one day, one of our customers said, "Hey Remy, I hacked into your account and I erased my tab." And he's like, "No way." He goes, "You go look," and it was gone. So Remy got a kick out of it. I'm like, "Remy, this is not right." Like Remy loved it though. So
Somebody really did, right?
I still to this day don't know what the guy looks like, but it was cool. He redid it and everything, but he was just trying to prove that he had skills to do that. So, and then I always thought, you look at the graphic behind us with
I love it.
It's like the Batman taking the bat signal with Hopnonymous. So I always thought, we kind of lean, if we do have a theme, it kind of leans towards a fun comic book, beer comic. So I've put on 3 shows here, art shows with my friends and new artists. And the first one we did was a Halloween show. Second one was our 3rd anniversary where we had everybody do their take on the mask logo that I just mentioned.
Yeah.
That was a fun one. And then I knew all along I got to hit a Comic-Con style one because these guys are all amped on that. So it was like slam dunk. They're all in. Steve Caballero, artist from, the punk rock scene, the album covers. Marvel artists are here today. DC artists. I'm really proud to invite Ground Floor Murals. They're the artists who do all the big Padre murals around town. They're going to be here today.
Oh, wow.
Just a stellar lineup. And, one of my friends from the action sports industry, too. So, that's how this all came about. And it was just going to be an art show. And then I thought, let's go big. We always go big here. So what else can we do? Comic-Con always has Artist Alley. We got this big alley behind us. It'd be funny to do an Artist Alley in an alley.
Yeah.
And they've just turned this place into a magic shop out here. It looks really cool. So that's the story with how this all came to be. And then line it up with Comic-Con. We might do like a special of people bringing their badge in late July. Come out, check out the art.
There you go.
And get a little special. Bring in some of the people from all over the world.
I know. I'm
trying our
beers.
beers.
I'm pretty sure you probably are, but as you guys working on some special Comic-Con releases?
No.
We might. I mean, the closest we got
maybe.
was Got Integrity, but we do have Slim and SD, which we're proud of. So that beer is only allowed to be produced and drank during the Padre season. And thankfully, of course, we run out. Last year, they went to the playoffs, and they were cranking up the new batch. So we were stoked. And I wanted to name one postseason, a little different take. They haven't used my names yet, but so we're happy with that. We just ran out of all of our cans, and they'll be back next week, cranking it out again. So
Slimin' SD, as being a San Diegan, proud San Diegan, and huge Padre fan, as you can see, I have a hat on. Proves I'm a Padre fan, right? But I can tell you I'm not a bandwagon fan. I was born in Sharps Hospital, 1982, and brought home in a Padres outfit. So,
wow, you were two when they
hit with the Cubbies, and I there's pictures of me sitting in my dad's lap at games during the playoffs.
Oh my God.
He's got this horrific shirt on, and I don't. He said he's trying to see if it's in storage, but they made these shirts with like the Friar like knocking heads off of bears. Like there's the Cub bear, and like he was like knocking their head off. I'm like, dude, that's pretty bad. Did you wear that?
Oh God.
But it was a big deal for San Diego in 1984, as well as for me, what I remember 1998, right?
And then that year '84 had Ghostbusters, which was the big movie. Yeah. So there was T-shirts, Cub Busters. And I just want to add something we did that was really fun. We got to have the original San Diego Chicken come out and film a little video for us, and it was hilarious. And people ask, "How did you get him here?" I got to know him over the last couple of years, just friends, and we're thankful for Ted for helping us out. So
that's really awesome to have the San Diego Chicken in the house.
Yeah, it was special. Everyone was here.
It's just like me too. When I started my beer brand, I was like, I have to do something Padre related, so I gifted you some cans of Father Figure IPA, and you got a 1987 Topps baseball card with a dad doing the swinging Friar on there. So
and it's great looking graphic too.
Yeah,
very nice.
Threw that on there. Shout out to Perfect Strangers Design, Garth, really good dude. I had to do something Padres related.
Of course. Yeah,
and
when
everybody
I first saw
did.
it, I was like, hey, I wonder if this guy likes the Padres.
I've been told
brand in San Diego.
So far, my favorite thing that I've seen with my beer being posted is a good friend of mine, Oscar. He huge Dodger fan. And he's like, I still have to support you even though I don't like this. And he took a picture with one of his like Dodger glasses. So he poured the beer in the Dodger glass. But game represents game.
It still tasted good too.
Oh yeah. Last year we got into a big old ordeal before the playoffs, and he said, you guys aren't even making the playoffs, and I literally said, we're not only making the playoffs, but we're going to eliminate you from the playoffs, and that's exactly what happened. So
that was a great run.
Shout out good to you for that.
It was exciting. And, we're not a sports bar, but we have one TV, and we show the games. Like, it's like it's just part of the community. We embrace it. We wear our jerseys. CeCe's always doing the specials. If during the Padre game, you get a $6 beer for about 6 or 7 of our beers.
Nice.
And we celebrated it because we were so starved. I mean, you named it, 1984. 1998. I remember those days. And it's like, this is the good time, so let's just ride it out, have fun. I mean, we show movies here too, but
and hopefully 2023, right?
Yeah, it's getting close.
It's not looking good right now.
I know.
It wasn't looking good last year either. Same time.
It never looked good.
I'm just used to it.
This is the only reason I know anything about baseball.
There you go.
People are always, can you put the game on? I'm like, can you tell me what channel it's on? Sure. That's the only reason. But it's fun. We get, the crowd gets wild, especially, last year. I remember being here.
Yeah.
It's, the end of the season, the whole bar would be lined up. One time we were super busy, and I did a reel where I was like, okay, we're all going to do the wave. Everybody get ready.
Yeah.
So I came around, and I was like, everybody take a sip of your beer as I come around. Everyone loved it.
It's a classic.
It's
That's
a good
awesome.
time once those games and the Padres are actually winning. It's fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And Remy's a soccer fan too, and I just got, he had a lot of the French, he had the French community here on a Tuesday, and it was packed, men, women, kids. I'm like, aren't they in school or work? But they were all here. We were having a good time.
And what, 2-3 years, you got an MLS team, right?
Yeah.
Thanks to Manny Machado and that group.
Right,
Yeah. So that'll be cool to have a nice big soccer following here in San Diego already. Now you'll have a pro team, so that'll be good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Definitely needed since, another one of my teams. I know it's a sore subject.
I know.
For San
Don't
Diego,
bring it up. I
but,
know.
The Lightning Bolts of Los Angeles now. I hate saying it, but but it'll be cool to have football
times.
here. Yeah.
Man, weren't you trying to buy a Justin Herbert?
I did. I bought a Justin Herbert Funko Pop. I'm not ashamed to say.
Oh,
okay.
Here today.
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
I got the
over by
Tatis
Alex,
Funko for my little nephew.
So, so back to HopCon and Comic Con. We're gonna pick your brain and see kind of what your favorite comic books are, or comic book characters are. We gotta throw this in, incorporate this into the episode. CeCe's looking at me like, I don't know. But I don't know. I mean, there's something popular. I'm sure you've seen some of the Marvel movies or something at some point.
For sure. I have two brothers. Like I grew up with them watching all like Batman and Spider-Man. My younger brother's super into Spider-Man. So yeah, I'm actually gonna go. It was just his birthday, and Nolan's birthday is today. So shout out to your brothers.
Hey, happy birthday, guys.
So I'm going to go check out some of the stuff and get something for both of them.
Got a brand new Spider-Man movie that just came out. I took the kid to see last Thursday. Really, really good. It's a cartoon. It was a little intense for him. He's 4, but he loved it because he loves Spider-Man. So he's just like, that was so cool. I'm like, okay, hopefully you don't repeat any of the things to your mom because she was against me taking them, but he enjoyed it. So, cool.
If anything, I'm going to say shout out Batman because Prince was in that, and I love Prince.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So I would say Batman has my heart because of Prince.
Because of Prince.
Right.
Well, you have something in common with our sponsors, the Craft Lounge in Beaumont, California, because Jimmy, the owner, is a huge Prince fan. He's like obsessed with Prince.
I was recently in Minneapolis and got to do a tour of Paisley Park, so I was so fucking
yes.
So,
awesome.
I
got to do that, man.
That's so cool. Ever.
Sexiest tiny man ever. I love that. Shout out to Prince.
So real quick.
He was tiny, yes. Very tiny.
After doing the tour, I was like, wait, I was bigger than Prince? Like, damn. But
I think
so hot.
His waist was like
tiny.
28 inches, 26
After seeing some of those
inches.
outfits, I was like, I
was he like 5'2"? How tall was he?
I'm like 5'3", 5'4".
Yeah, I think he was like 5'2".
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and he's just super slim and
so
just
tiny.
But what I like about Prince, aside from the theatrics and everything, was in reality he was probably one of the most amazing musicians.
Oh, for sure.
He could pick up. There would be 40 instruments on the stage, and he could pick up every single one of them and play them proficiently. Like he was just that talented, and then of course an amazing singer. So I'm down. I love to jam out to Prince when we're up at the Craft Lounge with Jimmy, and maybe a little Morris Day as well, and get down with the get down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure, man.
I love it. Yeah.
That's awesome. So
Batman wins. Yeah.
I'm Batman.
Yeah,
that's good. Good choice.
It's funny. I rarely see movies twice in the theater, but when I look back at my life, the funny ones, the ones I saw twice, Batman, the one CeCe's referring to,
Michael Keaton's Batman.
Yeah, the '89, and then the one with Heath Ledger.
Okay.
And then
Dark Knight.
Yeah, and then not related, The Hangover. But,
okay.
So those, it's rare I see movies twice in the theater, but Batman's always there. So I grew up with him as well, and then the Hulk.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, Calvin and Hobbes that was my go-to.
There you go.
I love that.
Every Sunday on the paper.
Yeah, that was the Michael Jordan of comics, if you ask me. So I did a little tribute to Watterson and Deadpool, and did a little Calvin pool, and it's here in the art show today.
That's awesome. Love it. I think I actually saw that.
I think it's around here somewhere.
Behind those people over there. Yeah, that's awesome. So, Calvin and Hobbes, your go-to. What about you, Brandon? What's your go-to from your childhood till now?
Man, as a kid, like I was always a Spider-Man guy.
Yeah.
But growing up, I love Iron Man.
Oh yeah, great design. Yes.
Yeah.
Great design, but then just seeing Robert Downey Jr. in that character, it just made me love that character.
So I got to go get you artwork out here.
Okay.
A friend of mine created a piece where it's Iron Man at a bar drinking a beer. So you have to own that one. We'll go out and I'll show it to you.
That's awesome.
That's right up my alley.
That's really cool.
What about you, Jay?
Man, I'm one of those people that you'll know that I'm a nerd because I'll throw out a comic book character. But growing up, I collected, Marvel, DC comics, and we were talking to the action figure guy about how I had to hide all my shit when the girlfriend came over because then I wouldn't have a girlfriend, right? But I was really big into Marvel and DC, and of course the big names are always great. I loved all the movies and stuff like that. But my favorite, I'd say, all-time comic book character was from Marvel was Luke Cage.
Oh yeah.
I loved. He was almost like an anti-hero, almost like Deadpool, and Deadpool's maybe a close second for me. And he was Power Man for a little bit, but mainly Luke Cage. And then I really loved his adaptation by when he was he had his Netflix show. They did a live-action Luke Cage show.
Yeah.
And it was just super. It was more real because it was okay, here's a guy that's walking the streets, and he's just a normal guy. You would think he was part of a neighborhood in Brooklyn or Harlem, and he had superpowers, but he wasn't flashy. He didn't have a cape. He didn't have a mask, and he just protected his neighborhood. And I just thought it was so cool because he was like literally like a normal person with like Superman powers. Totally. He just couldn't fly, but he had pretty much everything else.
Did he have the chain going across?
Yeah. So he had. So in the comic book adaptation, like leather jacket with the chain, the purple shirt, the jeans, and he had kind of like a flat top. And he was just cool. And then when he was Power Man, he was more comic book with the uniform and stuff like that. But that was my favorite. I just love Luke Cage.
I'm with you on that, man. I feel like Mike Coulter, the actor that played Luke Cage in the Netflix show, like he added such like a soulfulness. Like he was just so cool and like steely.
It was just cool because he's like a normal person, and you're in the streets there, and some people are robbing a bank or whatever, and he shows up, and they're just like, all right, whatever, and they just start shooting him, and he just stands there and looks at him as the bullets bounce off of him, and they're like, oh my god, and then he would just punch him, and the guy would fly like 40 feet in the air, and it's like that was just I just liked it because it was like more of like that non-comic book character, but he was part of Marvel. He was in the Avengers for a little bit, but I like Luke Cage. I thought it was dope.
Nice.
I'm weird that way. Gambit kind of in there. I like Gambit and Deadpool for the shit talking aspect of it. Always made comics fun as well as the movies. I think really stoked that they let Ryan Reynolds redo Deadpool and not have it go out like they did in the Wolverine movie, and he actually got to play a real Deadpool, because that's another one that's like the rated R character in a comic book, and he always had some crazy shit to say.
For sure. Well, Deadpool, like in the comics, they said he's like a Ryan Reynolds type.
Yeah.
And he didn't in the movie, like in the Wolverine Origins movie, like he didn't get to play.
Yeah.
Like
they didn't let him talk, right? I never saw it.
Talk, man. Yeah,
they sealed his mouth.
I don't know.
I'm like, you can't have Deadpool. Written. It was just crazy. And then what I really like, you can find it on YouTube. Ryan Reynolds' original pitch to do Deadpool, they filmed, like he put like millions of dollars in to do just one scene, and it's the opening scene that they do in the Deadpool movie. Of course, they switched it up a little bit, but he's just like chilling on the top of a freeway overpass listening to Salt and Pepper, and he just jumps off the overpass, jumps in the SUV, and kills everybody while talking crap. And I'm like, this is awesome. They need to make this movie, and they did. And then they kept that scene, like they wrote it into the movie.
So it was way longer. I only saw the beginning part. Okay, got it.
And now we're gonna get Wolverine. We're gonna get Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman, yep.
Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool together in a film. I mean,
it's really cool. I'm excited. We don't talk about comic books too often on the show or comic characters, so I'm really excited. My inner geek is coming out, as you can see. So
every once in a while, wrestling or comic books or something sort of related to beer, but not necessarily beer, gets in there. But as we kind of get into like some of the next beers, I would love to hear from both of you guys, Matt and CeCe, like how you guys got into beer, like whether it's how you started your career at Hopnonymous or just your love of beer, how your passion of beer started. I always love hearing those stories, and if you guys would share, I would love to hear that.
All right, well, when I was 21, I didn't really know much about beer. I was the girl ordering Pacifico, which I still love, and Stella, because it came in a fancy glass, And my girlfriend at the time, back in the day, Allie, was like, yo, you gotta stop with these beers. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, we're gonna order you something yummy. And I'm like, all right. The first beer she ordered me at the High Dive was a Racer 5. And I was like, ooh, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. So I finished it and was like, all right, that wasn't bad. Gave me another one. Then she ordered me a Sculpin, and I was like, okay. And that's what I was like, I can't drink anymore. Like, I'm already pretty fucked up right now. And she's like, yeah, like compared to drinking like a Pacifico.
Yeah, for sure.
And then after that, every time we'd go out to the bar, I was like, no, now I want a Sculpin, or now I want like that IPA. So I slowly started getting into it, and then really got into all the IPAs and said goodbye lagers. I would go to all the beer festivals, all the like brewery events and stuff like that, which was super fun. And then actually before working here, I had stopped drinking beer because it was just making me feel so funky, the bloatiness at the end of the day. I just didn't want that anymore, and all the gluten. So, but now I work here, and all that went out the door because they're delicious. And not only that, it's like not only do I get to have an IPA, I get to have a sour if I want. I get a lager if I want, which like I wouldn't normally go out and buy a sour or lagers anymore. Like I said, I would stick to IPAs, but everything that Hunter does here, like it's just amazing. Like even the Imperial Seltzer that we have, like if you haven't had a chance to try
Might
it,
have to try that.
the 8% seltzer is ridiculous. It's so good. But so now I'm back to loving beer and appreciating it again. But yeah, I've always kind of been a beer lover. I just started with Pacifico, which no hate, I still like. Yeah.
No, for sure. That's awesome.
That's how I got into it. Yeah.
What's your favorite Hopnonymous beer? I know you said like the brown ale is kind of like your jam at the moment, but like what's your like favorite of all time, or maybe like on tap right now?
Like Matt, I also started off with the Mexican lager, the Two Amigos, because of Pacifico.
Okay.
But I really also love, Hunter has a camp beer, a little crusher, Pat's Blue Ribbon. Not Paps, but Pat's, named after his wifey, Patricia.
Okay.
They love going camping. They love just crushable beers, and they wanted something light that they can bring with. And so he created the American lager, Pat's Blue Ribbon. Anytime we have that on tap, which hopefully we will this summer, I'm drinking that. I'm drinking the Japanese rice lager. And then when I'm feeling a little bit hoppy, I'll go to the other side and I'll either do a New Zealand or a San Diego IPA.
Okay. Good choices.
But,
Well,
so
thanks
look out
for sharing.
Pat's Blue Ribbon. Should be coming.
PBR.
Yeah. No, better
Pat's.
than a PBR.
That's Pat's, Justin, not Pat's.
Crafty PBR.
It's Pat's.
Pat's Patricia.
Pat's Blue Ribbon. I love it.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? So we're here with John from Plastic Caskets, and you already saw some pretty sick action figures. So John, tell us about your company.
So mostly I do part outs. I have a shop at Ninja Exchange in Carlsbad. The shop's at Carlsbad. And yeah, we just like to encourage people to do custom action figures. I have a custom action figures here to sell. And yeah, man, just encouraging people to play with their toys, right?
This is something that's really near and dear to my heart because I'll tell you a little bit. My brother and I, growing up, we were huge wrestling fans, and we had all the action figures.
Shades, man.
And we had all the action figures, and we used to make our own custom wrestling figures because a lot of times, because of intellectual rights or whatever, each company couldn't make somebody. So we would pop the heads off, pop the arms off, and just make custom figures. So when I saw this, I was like, this is dope. This is really cool. And we've always, kind of followed like custom action figure makers. And so to know that there's one here in San Diego, that's really awesome. So what got you into it?
The same thing, man. Just like you and your brother, I just wanted stuff that they didn't make. I saw potential. You see a head here, you see, a belt there, and you're like, man, I can build like my perfect Batman or something like that. And it just kind of grew from there. And you find other passionate individuals, and it's just fun to come out and meet cool people, right?
Absolutely, and what better place than San Diego, the home of Comic-Con, right?
Right.
So, and we're actually at HopCon, which is, I think, an amazing concept. Maddie put this together, and this is so cool to see, like, to bring comics, art, and beer all together in one place.
Right.
Like, how cool is that? Like,
just for a little too much.
There you go. They're gonna have to get some more for sure.
Cheers you with backwash.
There you go. Cheers. That's right. So this is cool. So looking at some of these action figures that you have here, I see some of my favorites. Captain America. We got Wolverine. Let's see. Who else do I see over here? Let me take a look. Stan Lee, the legend. I see Miles Morales. I just took my son to see the new Spider-Man. He would love that.
You like it, man?
Oh, what a great movie. It's really good. Yeah. It's one of those, like, your inner, like, comic geek was like, oh my gosh, because like literally every Spider-Man variant you've ever heard of is in it, and because they couldn't do that in live action, they could only do it in a comic movie, and they did a great job. Yeah, definitely highly recommended for sure.
All right, I haven't seen it yet. I'm hoping to see the T-Rex Spider-Man, maybe.
maybe. Yeah.
All right.
But really, really cool. My son was like, he got out of the movie. He's 4, and he just loves Spider-Man, and he was just like, that was awesome. So like that's the feeling I get because when I was a kid, I loved stuff like that. So I passed pass it down to my kid too.
Yeah.
So, but this is really, really cool. And I also see you got some packaged stuff over here. So we got some DC.
You got to give people, the stuff they need to start making their own custom. So just some mezco, of course, that have the soft goods. McFarland's, I've grown really fond of because of the joint system they use. They're really easy to swap out the parts, the legs, the arms, the torsos. Just great figures.
Yeah, awesome. So about approximately how long? Just from when you were a kid you started collecting action figures, or what really?
I think like most people, when I want to be cool and talk to girls, I might have took a break, but after college I kind of got back into it.
We hit them, yeah. So I have a huge Star Wars collection, and I used to hang them all on the wall. I had figures from the 70s, but then as I got older, I realized the ladies, when they came over and they went in there, they're like, "This is your room?" Like, no, it's my little brother's room. So now, unfortunately, been married for 19 years, and all of my collections are in storage. So, but one day my son and my daughter, they'll enjoy some of it. So, because I definitely have to pass it down because it's not worth selling. I've had offers, but I spent my whole life collecting that stuff. So I want to make sure my kids get to, enjoy it. None of it's open though. I can't give it to my son now because he'll tear it all open. But yeah, for sure. But this is really awesome. So they can come. You have a store people can come in and check out. And it's in Carlsbad, right?
Yeah, it's in Carlsbad. The shop's at Carlsbad, the mall, Ninja Exchange. I'm there most Saturdays, at least 2 Saturdays a month, open from 10 till 6. Yeah, come check me out.
Awesome. Yeah, go check out Plastic Caskets and at the Ninja Exchange, right?
Ninja Exchange, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Dope. Well, thanks for taking time to talk to us about your company, and this is really great. I hope you do well today.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Cheers.
Appreciate it. Yeah, cheers.
Thank you.
Okay, what about you, Matt? I know you talked a little bit about sort of like the foundation of this beautiful event we're at, but can you just share like how you got into craft beer, how you found yourself at this beautiful establishment?
All right, so I got in the beer industry. I was in the action sports industry. I'm a graphic designer and an artist, and I worked at Quicksilver and No Fear. Got to experience like their heyday or their end of days, and both of them went bankrupt. I moved back to San Diego. And sometimes it's hard to find a full-time job as an artist, but I'm a people person too. So even when I was at Quicksilver, you're just by yourself behind the desk doing your art. It's like no interaction unless it's lunchtime. So I went to that beer fest, got connected with Green Flash. I told them, hey, I had a fun time. I'll volunteer, or you can pay me or not. But if this ever comes up again at beer fest, it was fun. Let me know. She said, my boss Barb said. At the time, she said, let me talk to the CEO. Tuesday, I had an interview. I walk in, they had the W-2 papers signed, ready there. I'm like, no interview. So they gave me tasters. I'm doing the tasters. They said, tell me about this drink. And so I don't eat breakfast. And it was 10 in the morning for this interview. And I take a sip. And they're like, no. Hold it to the light. Look at it. Tell me about the color. Smell it. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
So I really had to learn all that. And because then I was going out into the field and getting everybody stoked on the Green Flash beers at the time. We got bought and sold and lost our jobs 1 week before Christmas.
Yeah.
I didn't tell anybody, not anybody. And it's just, how do you do that? Right before Christmas, I don't have a job. So I was like, I'm finding a job before my dad's reading the paper. I hear Green Flash just got sold. That's a rumor. There was rumors. So I'm like scrambling. So I got a job at Mike Hess because Mike Hess was taking over the Alpine restaurant. So I went for my last day at Green Flash because they let us work for 2 more months. And then I jumped over to Hess. And then I was there. And then one day Remy calls me out of the blue. And he's like, Matt, I got a job for you. And I said out loud at work, Remy, I'll work for you in a heartbeat.
There you go.
And that's what kicked it off. And I loved it here ever since. He's the best boss.
What's up, everybody? We're just continuing on interviewing some of the artists here at HopCon 23 at Hopnonymous Brewing. And we're here with Dimitri. And Dimitri, we got to check out what he does here. He's an amazing artist. This is sculptures and acrylic. Take a look at some of his products. Dimitri, talk to us about it a little bit.
So I'm an engineer by training, but I always wanted to find a way to express myself. So I take math and I find ways that math can define a curve that I can cut into acrylic.
That's awesome.
And then I will paint the acrylic from behind and then glue it, and then it turns out to these really cool sculptures in acrylic, right? That are quite stunning, I think. they look cool from the side, from the front, and very exciting for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, definitely appreciate it. I mean, we're here. It's HopCon. There's a lot of comic book related things, but there's also artists here, and you are a true artist. Something very unique and different that I honestly haven't really seen too much artwork like this out there. And you have to really see it in person. And you'll see it on video, but to appreciate what goes behind this, and you can definitely tell it's a passion of yours. It's just so unique and different and really cool. So thank you, because the world needs more artists. We talk about it. It doesn't matter if it's in beer or comics or whatever, but art makes the world go around. Sure, and it's nice to have somebody that has creativity in a different avenue that you've got here with your sculptures in acrylic. And you have some kind of social media people can follow you?
Yeah, I'm True Bubba Yum on Instagram.
True.
Yep.
Awesome, yeah.
On Instagram.
So on Instagram, and do you sell your artwork online?
I can just DM me and I'll find you and I'll sell it to you.
There you go. So yeah, go definitely check out Sculptures in Acrylic. And you said it's True
Bubba Yum.
True Bubba Yum on Instagram. Check them out. Check out Dimitri's artwork. It's definitely unique. All kinds of different styles. Something you could hang on the wall, keep as a centerpiece on your table. All different things. It look like, are these coasters right here?
Yeah, these can be coasters. I wouldn't use them as coasters, but they definitely can be.
Very, very cool. All right, well, Dimitri, thank you for your time, and we look forward to seeing more from you. And again, welcome to San Diego.
Thanks. Yeah, absolutely love it here.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
And one more thing about all of us, we're like a tight-knit family. We all have our little specialties. We collab well. Like CeCe and I take photos, and she'll post them, and she'll do a flyer for me. And
nice.
we had a great time at our third anniversary party. It was packed, and we want to go bigger and better every year. And we all decided, let's do like a summer party, because so that's what this kind of is. It's like, it's a nice sunny day, and unfortunately, Remy's out of town, but, we all planned on this and worked together. And then the artists, too, they do a great job of reposting what CeCe does, or she'll repost them. So everybody kind of it's organic. I'm happy that all the artists got shared with our followers. And, some of my artists got 54,000 followers, 106. So they'll promote us. So it all works out. Here's a free T-shirt, here's a free growler. Just a little thank you for all of them. And they're stoked to be here. It's the third time Steve Cavallero been in the show. Third time Jody's been in the show. My buddy Jay just walked in. Third time he's been in the show. He's a great graffiti artist out of PB. So we got a core group here, but then also on the other side of the counter with all these artists. We're going to start doing some live music here. We got some design things going on. Remy wants to do a deck out front, capture all the great San Diego sunsets, and
that's awesome, man. Yeah, we talked to it was Mike. Why am I blanking on his last name? Forgive me, Mike. No, Mark. Yeah, Mark.
Oh, the artist.
Yeah.
Yes, Mark Desalvo.
Yeah, Mark Desalvo. Sorry, Mark.
He's phenomenal. My gosh, yeah.
So cool and crazy, the breadth of work that he's done for so many incredible bands.
Sure.
Man,
yeah. I looked up there
here.
Before you even said it, I was like, is that Flogging Molly?
Yeah.
And then he pulled it. I was like, wow. I was like, that's cool. That's one of my favorite bands.
He went to art school in San Francisco, worked at breweries.
Yeah.
So he has the beer background too.
Yeah.
And then he just wanted to do album covers for these bands. No Effects, Pulley, Lagwagon. It's like Urethane, Steve Cavallero's band, who Steve agreed next year he's going to be here, Remy's going to be here, and his band is going to play here on HopCon too.
That's going to be
awesome,
fucking dope.
man.
So we're going bigger next year. It'll be on a Saturday. So
we're going to have
Hopefully we have
to
a bigger space by next year.
For sure.
You're gonna, what's the line in Jaws? We're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah. We're going to need a bigger brewery.
Yeah, for sure.
One other thing I wanted to mention, we were saying we're kind of keeping up with the band, because the word's getting out now. It's like we're no longer this hidden gem anymore, I don't think.
Yeah.
We just got the readers poll chose us as best San Diego brewery. What magazine was it?
San Diego Magazine.
You,
That's the third year in a row that we won that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So,
Congrats, you guys.
What an
It's our
accomplishment.
fans.
That's awesome.
Our customers here, they're seriously the best. This is my favorite place that I've ever worked at. The customers here are 99 of our clientele are just regulars that just we see every single day, every weekend. Like, we have some loyal people.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
It's fun.
That's what Matt was saying. It's like Cheers, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, seriously.
But like,
we know everybody's name.
I'm sure you could go into a lot of cities, most cities that have breweries, and find that feedback, right? Like, oh, we have a lot of locals, we have a lot. But San Diego is different because this is the craft beer mecca, arguably, of the world.
Yeah.
You guys have so much competition.
Yeah.
So to say that you have these recurring customers and, like what we're seeing today, it's packed in here. And I realize you have an event, but it's probably always, sort of kind of almost like this. Like,
Fridays.
to have that is
Fridays are
really
crazy.
remarkable.
Yeah. And part of it, living in San Diego, it's good to bounce around as a beer drinker, to try them all and collab with people and stuff. So it's like, I remember one time I had to go to society and I see one of our regulars. I'm like, oh, naughty. I'm like, what? And
I do that
he's
too.
Like, I'm like, just kidding. My gosh. I have friends there too.
I know.
I got friends at a lot of the breweries now.
It just feels like they're cheating on us. Like, someone the other day told me they were at society and ran into another, and I was like, you're cheating on us.
Yeah, and
How dare
and the funny
you.
thing is they'll rat each other out. Oh,
Yeah,
well, I'm
I
like, well, you
know.
were there too. You
All
saw
the
them.
time.
Yeah.
I know. They're like, oh, I saw Mike over at Kilowatt, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but you were there too. So what were you both doing
I was just
there?
driving by or walking by. Yeah, sure.
Right.
I can definitely see that. Be like, hey, you're in the wrong place. All right, you need to get back over to Hopnonymous.
Yeah.
But
it's
it's
cool.
like any given day you'll look around and there's like 5 or 6 people wearing our merch in here, and I'll go to the Padre game and see like 2 or 3. I'm like, what? Like, it's awesome. It's because we're such a tiny little brewery, but
I love it.
Sure.
The love is out there.
It's
in
cool.
the city.
It's cool to see. Like, I can say, like, after launching my beer brand, like, when you see people tagging on Instagram, like drinking your beer or whatever, like, one of my most favorite experiences so far after launching is we did a Cinco de Mayo fest up in Paris. Shout out to Good Day Brew, Miguel, the owner, and his wife Amber. And they put on this huge festival, and they brought on some of my beer. I'm brand new. I hadn't even launched yet. And he's like, I want your beer for the festival. And I said, okay, let me see what I can do. And he got it. And it was a Friday, Saturday event. And Friday, he sold out of my beer. And what was cool is I was there, and I wanted to, like, interact with people and ask them how they thought about my beer and stuff like that. And I think one of the cool parts was I saw Padre fans. I was like, go check out my beer, the Father Figure IPA. It's got a Padre can. And they were all over, and I took some pictures with some of them. But I filmed just random B-roll footage of the whole event, and they had banda music playing, right? And there were several ladies out there dancing solo to the banda, and they had beers in their hands, and I just filmed it in regular footage, and then I go back to look at it, and I'm like, all of those ladies had my dad bod beer in their hands, and they were dancing with my dad bod beer, and I was like, I don't know, to me that just like, this is my baby, like, and they're enjoying it and having a good time. Like,
Totally.
So I could totally see, how you guys, when you see Hopnonymous shirts at the Padres game. And,
Totally.
Yeah, I'm stoked. We got our merch getting worked on because like I said, we'll be at that beer festival next Saturday.
We will too.
Yeah, we're pouring out at the festival,
awesome.
so we'll see you there. So I'm trying to get some merch for that so we can sell some merch out there because we've just been so busy with the launch and everything. But yeah, it's awesome to see people enjoy the beers, and that's what I love about this community. And you kind of joked about, oh, you're cheating on us at another brewery, but as a craft beer fan, that's kind of like what we do is we beer hop,
absolutely.
And it used to be like the old days, right? The Green Flash days, like when Green Flash was in their heydays, like most breweries didn't want to work with each other, and it was like there was this like some of them did on certain cases, and it had to meet certain criteria, and then I feel like because of the pandemic and the recession and different things that happened throughout the United States, breweries started to open up more to like all of a sudden now everyone does collabs and does things or help out. Like I've noticed it's like I'll have breweries like, hey man, if you want to start getting into our market out here, just bring your product, put it in our walk-in, and you can come pick it up and deliver it to your places. Or if working with Derek, a creative creature, like if there's like certain hops or grains or something that he doesn't have and another brewery has, it's like, hey, use mine and then just buy some more then bring it back to us.
We do the same thing all
It's
the time
totally
too,
cool to see that because it didn't used to be that way.
No, and it was a little bit before. I know for a fact. Like I came from the action sports industry in Orange County. It's like we're Quicksilver, and you're playing baseball against Billabong and Volcom and Hurley, and it's like they were cutthroat with each other. They would do stuff like we had some of our stuff in Costco, and Billabong's like promoting it. Oh, they're in Costco. They sold out. It's like we had to call them. Can you calm down? Come on. And so But here in San Diego, when I started at Green Flash, there was 180 breweries.
Yeah.
And I asked my boss, I said, is this like real cutthroat? Like when we have a tent next to the other tent at the beer fest, is it going to be like, And she says, no, it's everybody's very helpful. Like I ran out of CO2. Juneshine hooked me up.
Yep.
Somebody needed lids one time when there was that shortage, and Green Flash was giving lids to whoever brewery it was.
Yeah.
That's
Like
awesome,
you need yeast. It happens a lot. They'll all trade yeast.
Yeah.
They'll all trade, the hops or whatever they're low on or what they need, just to help each other. It's cool to see that, like really across. She didn't tell me the name, but at the time she's like, there's only like 2 that don't really help, and everybody I've ever interacted, and it was funny because I was a brand ambassador, so I was more coworkers with Iron Fist and all the other breweries than I was, because I would just show up at Green Flash, collect all the stuff, and then go out. So I'm hitting like the circuit, and it's like I know all those guys. Those are who I'm working with, and sharing ice, and of course we all share beers too. That was a big perk too.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's like this in any other city where the industry pulls together like they do in San Diego. Like no one's ever rooting against each other. We're just a small one, and I think we don't want to even grow very big either.
For sure.
So it's like there's enough for everybody.
There's a
Win
piece
together.
of pie for everybody. That's what I say. This because for me, my experience as a craft beer fan is I like to, exactly what we talked about earlier, go brewery hopping and visit 5 or 6 breweries, get together with some buddies, and you go there and you enjoy several flights and different things. Find one that you like, drink a pint, and then go to the next place. And I noticed. A new place that you guys have here in North County, San Diego, called the Collab Public House. I really like that concept because it's 3 breweries and a winery and a restaurant all in one. So you can literally, do brew hopping in one spot, and kind of makes it nice. But that's kind of what I like to do. Is perfect example. My brother, a little less than a year ago, because my niece is almost a year, but you go and do what do you call it? The man's version of a baby shower, diaper party. There you go. Okay. I'm like, I don't know about that. I'm like, what? Yeah, I don't know what to call it, but diaper party. So we did.
So you drink.
You do a brewery crawl, and all the guys bring diapers, and so we went down to the Gaslamp. And we hit 9 breweries all within walking distance, and we walked around and had a good time, and and gave a piece of the pie to everybody. Supports. I like to support small local breweries. I try to stay away from the big guys, but I'll still go support them every once in a while. But I usually hit up the independent ones first because they're the ones that need the love more so than all those InBev overlords that run some of the industry.
I asked my former boss Barbara. I said, I had lost the job at Green Flash. So I'm like, what do you do? A couple of times I was going to jump ship too. And she said, she's like, Matt, if I had to do it over again, you got to stick with the small mom and pop ones. That's where you're going to be happy. That's where you're going to grow. Even at Green Flash, it was corporate. So to throw something like this, I'd have to talk to this guy,
go up
talk
the chain
to her,
of command,
do the email, do the write-up, get it. I always got things okayed, but here with Remy, Matt, let's do it. I love it. I love that. We don't mess around. We plan it, we do it, we get it done, and we do the next one. So I love it. There's a lot of freedom here for all of us. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's definitely successful. You've done a really, really good job, and bringing all these people in here. I mean, I'm seeing people enjoying the art. I'm seeing people enjoy everything.
This is our DJ right here.
There he is.
All the great music tonight. Thank you.
But it came together well. There's a family over here. I can't wait to go high five them because they got their daughter dressed like Ray.
And the little Spider Girl too.
Spider Girl and Ray.
So their mom is one of the artists.
She's one of the artists.
Off the anime picture, which you don't see a lot of anime in this show, but I'm happy to have some of that.
That's awesome.
This show's really eclectic too. It's everybody's got a different style, but it all looks good together. It fits.
It came together so well. I mean, we walked in this morning before the crowds, and I just saw everything, and I'm like, oh man, this is so cool. And for people in San Diego that love Comic-Con, it's I don't have to go brave the. I mean, there's crowds here, but nothing like Comic-Con, right?
Yeah.
And like you get a little bit of mix. There's comics out there. There's action figures. You've got artists. You got artwork that you can purchase.
Padre stuff. I included a lot of different stuff for everybody. We got
food. Don't have to go anywhere. There's food right there. And then, of course, let's not forget the beer, right?
Right.
I can't get this beer at Comic-Con,
No.
so
Yeah.
this is a win for me.
I knew people in the early days of Comic-Con and in the 70s, they would, it's adults or 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
They would drink beer at the Comic-Con.
Right.
The organizers.
Yeah.
And
With a stogie in their mouth.
And so I just wanted to show, here's a legal way of joining beer and going to the artist alley.
Yeah.
And I think, San Diego, it's known for its comics and its beer, so that's what today is about. So.
Yeah, good job. This is great. This is really cool.
Thanks for coming out. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have to make this a yearly tradition.
Yeah, next June. Let's do it. Come back.
Yeah.
You said this is the third annual, second annual?
Hopnonymous is 3.5 years old. Oh, I guess 4 if you go by.
Yeah, we'll be 4 in December. This December will be 4.
But the event.
This is the first time.
First time.
Yeah.
First ever. But we knew 2 months ago we're doing this again because I had so much buzz with these artists and they were like, I'm like, this is a slam dunk. It's
Yeah,
we'll do it again.
What an honor to be at the inaugural. Yeah, we have one more, right, on the board?
One more
on the board. Let's see what we're doing on this one. Maybe this is in the 2 spot. No, I mixed it. I think I moved one. Darn it.
Big fan, maybe? Because I don't remember.
Oh, Daddy-O's. I'm sorry.
Daddy-O, and that's you were saying that's your favorite, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
One more thing. Oh, so the next show we were approached because now we're getting known for art shows as a side deal, and the Derby United, the roller derby teams of San Diego approached us and said, "Hey, we got 100 artists that want to be in your show." I'm like, "Let's do it." So this one will run 2 months, and then in mid-September we're going to start the Derby show. And then this 4th anniversary of ours, we're going to do a tribute to the San Diego team. So I'm hoping Padres do well. And we're going to celebrate them in the Aztecs, San Diego Aztecs.
Knock on wood,
went to the Final Four. So, and then also include, Remy knows the rugby team and the San Diego Loyal. Remy just got all our beers at the UCSD.
I saw that.
So the Torero beers. So let CeCe talk about that.
We got contracted out to make a West Coast IPA and a blonde for churros. So anytime you go to any of their games, you can grab our beer there. And then we usually have it in cans here, but we're probably going to get it back in stock next week. But even when you come to the brewery, it's the West Coast IPAs are what you need IPA.
Yes.
It's a good one, super traditional IPA, classic style. And then the blonde is going to be our Bring In Blondie back, just another delicious little blonde ale.
I like it.
But yeah, we're super stoked about that.
That's really cool to see, and I'm sure for any, I'm not a UCSD alum myself, but I'm a San Diegan, so I can appreciate that, right?
Totally, exactly.
Yeah. So
Remy's wife said alumni. It says on the can,
that's awesome.
Owned and operated alumni, so that's special to us. So.
That's really cool.
Super stoked.
And Remy worked hard on that. It was a long process to pitch it, and you had to show him the labels, have him taste the beer, and invite him out here, and he goes there. And there was 2 other very large breweries in town that were vying for that, and Remy snagged it. So. Yeah,
that's really cool, and that's a testament to the company too, right? Even though it's a smaller brewery, but sometimes you got to deal with the little guys. I mean, you get more of that personal touch and more of that, friendly vibe instead of just straight business. I want to do it. Yeah, I want to do business. I want to be able to sit at a counter and drink a beer with somebody and talk about other stuff other than business and still get business done. And that's kind of how I've dealt with, getting my deal started. Shout out to Derek at Creative Creature for giving me the opportunity to contract brew with him. And, I really, it's more of a smaller brewery setup, it's not the big guys or anything like that. So, and I can definitely appreciate, that. And you guys are doing a great job here too.
We love that. We want you to come in, have a beer, tell us about your day. We'll tell it, and we'll remember stuff. I remember people telling me about their daughter just had this recital, or their dog just did this, and then I won't see them for a couple of weeks or a month, and they come back and I'm like, hey, how's your dog? And they're like, wait, what? You remember that? I'm I don't know what I did yesterday, but I can remember little things like that. I'm very good at that, but that's what I love. don't want to go work for the big guys. I want to work for a small place like this where I can sit down or chit chat with you for 5 minutes and learn about you, and you can learn about me, and we become friends. Like, I've made such good friends just working here in the 2 years. Like, that's my kind of vibe. That's our vibe.
Yeah, and a lot of our customers talk, I love the vibe here. They always say the word vibe, and it's us, but it's also them. It's anybody.
I feel like
a regular next to a newbie, and they're pointing out the beers, and they're talking about
know.
beers.
It's like, oh,
you gotta try
you're
this.
hired. You want a job here?
You know, and a big part of it, Remy, whenever I'd walk in, he knew where I worked, but he's like that. He's lining up 4 little shots for me.
Coming up, ask us
and,
questions.
you know, yes. and,
I feel like the whole vibe thing, you know, that's like something I tease I have an older daughter, she's 14, and like got all this lingo. Sometimes I have to ask for definitions for some of it, or especially her text messages when she has her abbreviations. Yeah. But you know, she always talks about the vibe and stuff like that. But I feel like with that, it's more like, you know, they're in reference to like this is a family.
Yes.
You know, and you mentioned Cheers before. Like, it's not, you know, a bar.
No,
it's not. This is a family gathering place. You can, you know, you got kids here. Families come, and you know, nobody, like, I've never really gone to a brewery unless it's a special event and got like totally schnockered, like just blackout drunk.
Right.
That's for the dive bars, like back in my youngster days. I'm too old for that crap these days. But you come here, you have, you know, you sample different beers, you enjoy each other's company, enjoy the beer tenders that are amazing, have amazing stories. You become friends, you get to know each other, and
everybody ends up buying each other around. You know, the guy at the bar all the way over there, I'd be like, hey, I just made friends with that guy. Buy next round's on me, and this guy's like, no, next round's on me. And it's like, okay, guys.
Love that.
And we never have a problem with that whole, you know, people drinking too much.
Yeah.
It's just, like you said, it's a
you don't see it at breweries very often.
You don't. And I told Remy, I told Remy from the get-go, I'm like, after about a month, I'm like, Remy, and I knew this, but once you're here and you're working here, or if you're here a lot, I'm like, Remy, this is something special that you do. It's like, you know, we had regulars at these other spots I would go to, but not this many and not this loyal. And it's a community, and it's more than just a workplace. It's a fun family community. Cheers like spot, and it's fun. And I like, you know, I love everybody, but I really like when somebody's new, and I can tell because like the way they're kind of overwhelmed. And so I'm like, it's exciting because I'm like, I get them stoked, and then they're a regular 3 days later. Like, you know, they love the beers. It just, they don't make a bad beer here, and it's just
nothing.
I love it when you can get
just like our beloved regular Dale says to everyone, any bad beer is the one that isn't on the board.
There you go.
I love that.
Dale says that all the time.
Shout out to Dale.
Shout out Dale, man. Everybody knows
Is he the
him.
norm you were talking about?
Yes, he is.
Look, listen, any bad beer is not on that board. Don't worry about it.
I love that. Every brewery's got their typical regulars. You know, like the Craft Lounge, our sponsors. You know, they've got their regulars that are always fun to talk to. We met, I don't know if you remember Hans at Noble Ale Works.
Oh yeah, Hans.
So
man.
he's a character. He's if you closed your eyes, you would think you were talking to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh my God!
And he goes, he's there every day. He has his own personal mug, a stein that he brings in. That's his family stein. And I didn't know when we met him because I just saw him recently again.
Yeah.
And he recognized me right away. We met once.
He's been in there every time I've ever been in there.
He's there all the time. And he walked in with his little mug, and he orders. They fill his stein. It's I believe a 28-ounce stein or bigger, and he chugs one just to start when he gets there.
Oh my God!
And then he sits there and drinks the rest of the night. But he's such a nice character, and he's super friendly. When we went and did a podcast there, he walked right up to us and he's like, "Hello, I'm Hans, and this is a great place. Thank you for coming." We thought he was an employee there,
That's
you know,
everyone thinks
but he's just a regular.
And then he was like, "Well, I'm here avoiding my wife before I go home."
Get down.
Dale's like our, official brand ambassador.
There you go.
He roams. He talks to everybody. He gets them stoked on the beers.
And,
I love it.
And we
he
have
has
a couple
a
others
bathroom
too.
key, like whenever the tissue is out in the bathroom. Yeah.
So
we gave him a key.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Anytime we're busy, he has a key now. So whenever the paper towels are out, he's like, "I got you guys." So we gave him a key. We're like,
I love it.
Wow.
We love it.
That's awesome.
I'm surprised he's not here.
We have customers that help us out too, do little tasks. Well, you don't need to do that. Just get designed our
family.
Christmas
We take
tree
care of
with
each other.
lights.
Yeah, they take care of us. We take care of them. Like,
Oh yeah, I mean,
love
I could totally see, the regulars. They feel like this is family. Like, sitting here and like you say, hey, you're part of the team. You know what I mean? Like that's
for sure,
cool.
yeah.
I've seen breweries like with some of their loyal customers. They'll do like, hey, let's make a beer for you and put their name on a can.
Dale!
Dale
had a beer.
There you go.
We have two. Dale, I forgot what.
Tale of Two Dales.
Tale of Two Dales.
Nice.
And then another one of our regulars, Tony, was Tonysaurus Rex.
There you go.
Another IPA that we made for him.
That's perfect.
Shout out
Tony.
Tony.
For mine, too.
Yeah,
we need
were
a CeCe.
talking about that.
We need
yeah.
a CeCe Rider.
So what would it be? What would it be?
New
Zealand?
I feel like
Okay.
She's kind of thought about it.
Hazy.
Yeah,
let's do
New
the
Zealand,
Pale.
New Zealand pills.
Well, Eric Burden from the Animals, he had a CeCe Rider song. I don't know
There
if
you
he's
go.
the original, but if you guys remember, it's like
Elvis did it too. Yeah.
So I would do
What kind of beer would you do? Like a New Zealand
I would
pills
do
or?
a New Zealand, probably similar like Big Fundamental. I
Okay.
would do like a
Okay.
little West Coasty New Zealand, yeah.
I like that.
Just something with Nelson just thrown in there,
Yeah.
like delicious. That would
What? And Matt, if you made a beer,
Hunter
what would it
probably
be?
hate me on this, but I love pineapple. So anything he could infuse, I'm thinking maybe a hazy
There you go.
pineapple.
I got one coming out for you. You're gonna like
Really?
it.
Okay.
Okay.
And we do great sours here too. And I'm not a sour guy. I like these sours. I'm not a seltzer guy.
Yeah.
These are good. Like I drink them. I drink these beers. Like it's
Yeah, I haven't
It's
tried
an
one
easy
yet
sell.
today, but I'll probably sip on one later and see what it's
yeah.
all about.
We'll get you some. But I love pineapple. So I would just for me. That would,
Okay.
Not that I'm dying for
Like
it.
a
But that would be
delicious-
So-
cool to have a little.
So probably, I don't know, 5-6 weeks. I'm hoping we'll see. But
Okay.
we're gonna do a hazy IPA called Dad's Hawaiian Shirt.
Ooh.
And it's gonna have a little hint of pineapple in there.
Nice.
So
Wow.
yeah.
Okay, so like a pineapple puree.
I don't want to do the puree
Okay.
because what I'm going for more is just a subtle pineapple. So we're either going to use the pineapple Dole Whip powder, or just straight hops that like simulate pineapple. Like Vic's Secret is really good at simulating pineapple, stuff like that. So
Okay.
toying around with it right now
Yeah.
and see if we can get it out. Cause,
I won't say who, but
Bring
I
some
know.
in.
I
We
know
wanna
a brewery
try.
that did. They were using the lemon snow cone powder that was in
Yeah.
the beer.
Yeah.
So it's unique. Hunter will put like crushed graham crackers.
Yeah,
and,
we've done.
just-
The Let Them Eat Cake, which is one of our signature sours. He'll do graham cracker powder, like cream cheese powder in there,
Nice.
and it just straight up tastes like cheesecake.
Yeah.
You close your eyes and you're just like biting into cheesecake.
You know, I'm your traditional beer drinker. Lagers, pilsners. I used to do stouts, but now right now my favorite all-time beer is a dark lager, like a black lager, stuff like that. In fact, Father's Day weekend, shout out Oscar's Brewing Company for you San Diegans that remember Pat and Oscar's.
Oh, yeah.
We just did a collab with them, and we got Papa Bear Lager coming out. Yeah, so
I missed that part.
that should
Yeah, I
be.
forgot
Oh yeah,
about that.
Temecula is only 45 minutes.
Oh,
the
it's
restaurant
still there.
brewery's
Oh,
open,
go
so
ahead. I'll go.
45.
yeah, you got to
Go
go.
to
And
McElhenney
they
instead.
still got breadsticks. Still got the breadsticks.
Speaking of food, so I'll let CeCe tell about it too. But we have a food truck every day of the week except for Sundays.
Okay.
But we'll kind of rotate them in as well. But
It's
we have
fun.
a great lineup.
That's also what just kept us open because
Food.
everybody had to have food. So
Yeah.
food trucks. We've had some. It's been fun, but shout out Murillo's. They're out there today. Such good Mexican food. If
Yeah.
you guys want some.
yeah,
after,
yeah, we gotta
after
check
having a
that
few
out.
beers,
I do.
gonna need some
Yeah.
food.
I've never said no to Mexican food, being a
Yeah.
loyal and native San Diegan.
of
but
course, yeah.
We always, because he's my friend here, Brandon. He's from LA, and we always have to snub each other on who's got the better Mexican food.
There you go, Ollie.
yeah, the
Come
closer to
on.
the board, the better.
Justin likes it with extra beans.
No, I do not. I had to tell him. I don't know if you follow Burrito Pride on Facebook,
No,
but
I should.
it's a group. They're very like pretentious, snobby burrito people, and there's always a fight between LA and San Diego on there.
Of
course,
And of
yeah.
course,
Competition.
being San Diegan, you order a carne asada burrito. It's meat, pico, and guac.
Yep.
You go up to LA, it's rice, a ton of beans, 3 little slivers of steak, and
No,
some pico
that's
and
not
guac.
a burrito.
That's a veggie.
Yeah.
I mean,
Look, no.
I love me a veggie burrito, and it's funny
do too.
because I am Hispanic, I'm Mexican, and growing up Mexican, like there's always freaking carne asada at my house.
Yeah.
There's always meat and sauce and stuff, so I kind of just get burnt out on it. So
Right.
when I do go to a taco shop, Los Dos in PB, North PB,
Yeah.
I get a veggie burrito every time.
Oh, nice.
And everybody's like, what? And I'm
Yeah.
like, listen, it's so good. It's just plain. It's
Gotta
simple.
trust it.
Sometimes it's good because I'll do the what do you call it?
carne asada
Chili Rano
anymore.
burrito. There's no meat in that. That's good.
Yeah. I just, I'm so burnt out on carne asada. I love it, but I'm like, every time my dad texts me, he's like, hey, I'm grilling. Want to come over? I'm like, what is it? He's like, carne asada. I'm like, God damn it.
Let me guess.
Can we make something else already? It's like
Can you
either
put some
carne-
chicken on the grill,
Yeah,
please?
it's like carnitas or carne asada or some type of meat. I'm like, dude, that cholesterol, man.
Red meat, but it's so delicious.
I know, it's so good.
So
But every now
delicious.
and then, you can throw some veggies in there. You know?
Yeah,
Sure.
but that's good, and nothing pairs, in my opinion, pairs better with beer than Mexican food.
Right.
you
I
know?
know. That's
Either
right.
Mexican food or
Pacifico,
Mexican food or barbecue.
lagers.
Those are the
Yes.
two that
Yeah.
Totally.
crushing beers and eating.
Italian food's not going to do it.
Especially
It's got to be those
like-
two genres.
Yeah.
The Dos Amigos or the Two Amigos
Yes.
that you guys have
Yep.
is like
Perfect.
wow.
Oh, yeah.
Got that hint
Marinate
of
your
lime.
carne asada with that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the lime zest that's in there. It's just perfect, like you said. That vibe of
Yeah.
sitting, chilling out at the beach and stuff like
some
that.
Chips, guac.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
good.
CeCe, what are some of Hunter's favorite beers and also Remy's favorite beers? Do you know?
Well, Remy loves the Dorsey Lion, which is the Belgian ale. He's French and grew up more to like the
So the
closer,
Belgian
like,
styles,
Belgian.
yeah.
Loves that stuff. Ugh, I can't really handle that.
love that
But he
one. I
loves
love it
that
too.
stuff.
And you guys won. You guys won an award in that category, right?
Yeah.
Three awards.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's the second time we won it for that category. But
Wow.
He loves that beer. And then Hunter loves lagers. He makes delicious IPAs, but on his days off, he always says that he's drinking those lagers.
I feel like that's a stereotype with brewers.
Dude, seriously. Yeah.
There aren't enough lagers. I love
He
lagers. That's like
loves the
I
lagers.
prefer those. Like I wasn't an IPA guy until I went to Green Flash, and I didn't agree with all the beers there. But here, I love all the IPAs and I love all the lagers.
Yeah.
And Hunter did tell
Loves
me like a
lagers.
month ago, like he's going to push for more lagers.
That's
coming
good.
up.
Oh, that's cool.
Not
Bring
push, but
him.
make.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, for sure, for sure.
Well, that's why he made the Pabst Blue Ribbon, and in the ST Beer News, like little article they just did about him.
Portrait of the brewer.
Yes,
Yeah, we talked about that
one.
earlier, yeah.
He, one of the questions was, "What is your goal as a brewer?" or something like that, and he said to win an award for one of the lagers. Like he
Yeah.
wants to make an award-winning lager. Let's hope for Pat's because it's so good.
So my take on that is on a brewing standpoint or coming from a brewing standpoint, a lot of people don't realize that lagers are probably the hardest beer to make. Not necessarily the process of the brewing, right? It's just throwing the ingredients in there. Well, there's more to that to it than that. But the lagering process, the patience, and the dedication you have to put into it to
Yeah,
make
it
a
takes
solid
a
quality
while.
lager.
For
sure.
Sometimes if you lager too long, no good. If you pull it too soon, no good. So you really it's a process. It's really hard, and people don't realize. Well, Budweiser and Coors and all, and I'm like, those are giant facilities that can pump out millions of barrels of beer, and it makes it easier, right? But on a smaller, more independent craft beer store or brewery, it's hard to do. So I definitely appreciate Hunter's goals, and that's kind of like for me, like with my brewery. Eventually, when we have our tap room open here at the end of the summer, I want to have those everyday drinking beers. But it takes up tank time.
Yeah.
A lot of
Oh,
tank
yeah.
time. You got to be
Sure.
patient with it. It's
Yeah.
like a baby. You got to nurture it, and you got to feed it, and you got to take care of it before you pull it off the tank. So whenever I go to a brewery, usually, and that's what I did here this morning, the first beer I had was that rice lager. I always like to do that because I like to go to a brewery and try out their lager, and if it's good, their brewer is doing good.
Yep.
And so that's really cool. So shout out to Hunter, and I hope that takes off. And
like I said, that's what
hopefully
got me
we'll
drinking
see you
the
guys at
lager today.
GABF, and you guys win some awards out there. So that'd be cool. Yeah, for sure.
But that's got to be, Justin, we've talked about it a lot with, some of the various shows we've done. That's one of the tough things where if you're a brewer, you're at your brewery or whatever, you have to brew not just necessarily the things that you like to brew,
True.
but the things
Something for
that
everybody.
your customers like to brew. Like, would you say you guys do a lot of sort of feedback from the people that come in terms of like, hey, here's a little bit more of what we like, don't necessarily like this?
So we do it all. So we have the right side of the board is all IPAs. So if you're looking for IPAs, we're like, this is your side. The other side is going to be your lagers, your sours, your browns, your reds, your Belgians. So there's only maybe about 5 core beers. Everything else is rotating. So
Okay.
whatever you try today, we may not have next week or the following week. So unless something is absolutely out of this world phenomenal and everyone's like talking about it and he's super stoked on it, we'll rebrew it. But it's rarely back to back. Like it'll be months till we rebrew it again. Like the Got Tegrity, when that episode first came out, we brewed it. Everyone fucking loved it, and couldn't stop talking about the episode, and everybody thought it was funny that we have Randy Marshall up there.
That's so cool.
So we rebrewed it again. Same thing, Big Fundamental was one of the beers that was brewed like when I first started here 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then we just brought it back just now again. So we do it all. And sometimes with the sours, we get people that are like, oh, we really liked, like a popular one that we canned was Banana Boat Crew. So that one will be back. And people like, but say like, so yeah, I think it's just a matter of not just what the people want, but like what we want and what Hunter wants.
It's a mix.
Also. Yeah,
It
it's
really
a mix of
is,
like
for
everything.
sure.
But we try to satisfy everyone. But like I said, it's more fun when we have something different for everyone than like, oh, you came and it's just the same stuff on the board all the time.
Well,
Keep
it's
it-
just
we
like
to keep it interesting.
the old days of breweries of like, you know, if you went to a brewery and it's like this is all they had, like you know, flashback to when IPA heavy was San Diego, right?
Yeah.
Every brewery you went to was like 12 IPAs and maybe a lager, right? And then now you go and there's such a variety out there because different strokes for different folks, right? Everybody
Exactly.
loves something different, you know?
Well, that's why I asked that question, because like we were talking earlier, like there's such an incredible variety that you guys have on tap, and you know, CeCe,
And we
you
get
just talked
people
to
that come in and we're like, hey, well, all right, so what kind of style of beer do you like?
Right.
And they're like, oh, I like this and that. So definitely not sours. And I'll be like, oh,
Yeah,
we'll
I
see
do this
we'll
too.
see about that.
Well, let me change your mind.
Exactly.
Challenge.
I'll pour them like right now, the time of my life, which is a mango sticky rice sour, which also have to try.
Is that a little shout out to Dirty Dancing?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you know what? You got it. Yes. I did it in the font of Dirty Dancing too, but no one ever.
So
Nobody throws Maddie in the corner.
Yeah, they do.
so good. But I'll be like, oh, like, because everyone thinks like those puckery sour, like, oh, we don't really mess with that. So I'll be like, all right, well, here you go, try this one.
Yeah.
And 99% of the time, they end up leaving with the sour that they came in saying they don't like,
Yes.
Yeah.
than what they came looking for.
I've seen it.
all
I like
the
to do that
time.
too.
I've seen it.
All the time. I'm like, oh, I thought you said you didn't like sours. You came in for an IPA. And they're like, this is so good. I'm like, I told you.
And
And then we have a from the get-go, Remy designed Iris and the Giant Peach as a tribute to his little daughter, Iris. And
Beautiful.
so this is probably like the 7th or 8th iteration of it. So the name is there, but the fruits change. She uses, Remy is big on, you know, always, you know, no preservatives, no added sugars. It's just all natural fruits. He spends money on the ingredients, so he's proud of that.
Yeah.
And you know, we also have the Juice Box Hero. Now it's in like 3.0, so you
The
might have had
flavors
it
rotate all the
last
time.
month, and it was, you know,
Different.
heavy cherry, and now, you know, it's got 3 or 4 flavors each time.
Yeah.
Now
But
it's
it
like
will
a
change.
delicious
So
mimosa.
one
like
time
that.
it was orange, and then it was red, and now it's
Yeah.
yellow. That's what we're having, right?
And that's
Okay,
what we
so
just got
we're-
dropped off here was a mimosa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so it's a-
8%
Whoa.
But it's a
Imperial
seltzer technically, right?
Yep.
Okay. So obviously, a lot of breweries feel compelled to have a seltzer on tap.
We only have the one, but it's
Yeah.
a damn good one.
It is really good, and I feel like BeerDad and I are quite, in theory, opposed to seltzers. Neither of us are necessarily big fans of seltzers.
Normally, it's one of those things where, like, yeah, I'm not going to get a seltzer. I'm good.
Yeah.
The wife
No, for
likes
sure.
seltzers.
Absolutely.
I would say when seltzers started becoming a big thing, I feel like they all tasted like hand sanitizer to me.
Absolutely.
And I just wasn't a
for
fan
sure.
being a beer drinker. My wife, though, she's like she never liked White Claw, which is good, so I can't call her a
me
basic
neither.
White Claw
Me
drinker.
neither.
But she'll drink Truly, I think it is.
Truly?
So she'll do that and stuff like that. So she appreciates the seltzers, and for me, it's like far and few between on if I'm going to like it or not. This is really good, and I know for like those Sunday brunchers, they'll love this. You know, it's all about the blending process because you need to find the right components to adjunct the seltzer to take away that sanitizer flavor that I get.
Right. And what is CeCe hit us? Like, what is this again? Like,
This is an 8% Imperial seltzer with tangerine, passion fruit, key lime, and I believe apricot.
wow.
Yeah.
And what's the name?
Juice Box Hero.
Juice Box Hero.
Tribute to Foreigner.
Juice Box Hero.
Love it. There you go. I only sing once per episode. That's all you get.
Was this in the article too recently? Hunter
I believe so. Talking about
to make the seltzers.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. He doesn't
I don't think there's any.
They're the best.
I don't like.
I don't drink anybody else's but his. They're so good.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any brewers that like to make seltzer, unless it's a seltzer brewery and that's all they make.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
But I laughed at that. I was cracking up because I'm like, it makes the best one. That we have people coming in when we don't have it on tap. They're like, what? Like,
See, for me, like with the brewery and stuff, like I know, like okay, you're probably gonna have to have at least a seltzer.
Yeah.
So having the wife as the palate person, I might have her decide on what goes there.
Definitely take a crawler for her. Yeah, we'll get one for her.
She'll like it. She'll love it.
We'll get one for her.
What would you like to take home? Beer-wise here.
Man, I really want to try that Belgian strong ale,
Yeah.
the one that
Yeah,
is
right.
kind of
Do
award-winning for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I know my lady would like this a lot, the seltzer.
I know. It's
When we
like you're
came
hanging
in.
by the pool, you're lounging,
Totally.
you're drinking a seltzer.
Yeah.
You know?
I just pictured myself. You guys really need to get over there. Tom Ham's Lighthouse.
Oh yeah.
The best brunch in San Diego, by the
I
way.
know. And
This would
Bali
be
High.
awesome to have there. Yeah, it's a little pricey. We just took my mother-in-law there for early Mother's Day. I want to say it's $75 a head now. Used to be cheaper, and it included
I know.
unlimited mimosas, and they got rid of it.
I know.
But maybe they would do unlimited these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Imagine
know.
Hopnonymous and
Tom
And
Hanks.
it's
Tom
funny
Hanks.
because this is 8%. And everybody,
Oh.
And it's
you tell
easier,
them,
right? You don't have to
it's
pour like
sneaky.
2 ingredients. It's just,
yeah.
just one.
I could pair this with some scallops and some lobsters.
There
You know what I
there
mean?
you go.
Yeah. My wife was giving me a hard time when we were there, and she's like, "Are you going to eat anything other than seafood?" I said, "No. $75 a head.
Yep,
I'm eating the
all
ocean.
seafood.
I'm going to eat the ocean
feel like
because
you
I
gotta
want my
stick your
money's
pinky
worth.
up in
I don't
here.
need no eggs. I don't need no sausage. I don't need any of that.
No.
Those lobster claws, crab legs, scallops, mussels, all of it. The only thing I don't care for are oysters. And I don't say that I don't like oysters. It's just the certain types. Like
For sure.
you have to have a high quality oyster. For me, I don't like that slimy ocean taste.
Me neither.
But there's people that love it. They throw the marinara sauce and the lemon and slurp it up. And I'm man.
some wild stuff.
Yeah.
But this
Going
would
on
be a
with
good
oysters.
pairing with seafood for sure.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you about your shirt because it's similar to our logo.
Oh, please.
Beer
yeah.
Zombies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Beer Zombies out in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Okay.
Really good IPAs
Okay.
out there.
Yeah. So
Probably one of the bigger.
they
breweries
actually
out in
have
Las
a
Vegas.
story San Diego based. So Chris, the owner of Beer Zombies, he started tap rooms up in Las Vegas. Very successful. He's got several locations now. Huge in craft beer. And he actually contract brews all his beer here in San Diego with Mason Ale Works. So they do all of his beers. He comes down, brews them. Barrel aged stouts, IPAs are very popular. Some sours. They do a good job, and then he just ships it all up to Vegas, and then he also distributes and stuff like that. So, and they do like a zombie fest and all that. So, definitely a good connection for you guys to have to maybe collab and do different things with. But really cool person in the industry because he's kind of like, and he's kind of been like my poster child for what I wanted to do. Right, I started with contract brewing, and eventually I'm gonna have a tap room. And I kind of go that route versus like, hey, give me a $600,000 loan. Let me extend my whole entire family and open a brewery. I'm starting baby steps, you know.
Yeah, and like Remy did. But it's
Yeah.
great that you got your cans at the store.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
That took a little hard work on my part, like. So I just I wanted to get my product out first and grow the name and grow the brand. And so I'm doing stuff like collabs, like I did a collab with Oscar's Brewing. We're going to be doing some other collabs with Solaris Beer and Murrieta, and some brew, and of course Creative Creature as well. So maybe Hopnonymous as well.
Yes, I was about ready to say. Yes.
Talk to Remy and get something going. But yeah, it helps spread the name. And of course, next Saturday, the San Diego Beer Fest, that's going to be huge for us.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and you guys are going to be there, right?
We'll be there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Will I be there?
We'll be there. We got to figure that out. Yeah.
Rock, paper,
No.
scissors.
There needs to be a day where like a few of us go.
I know.
Yeah.
Because
But
we.
Hopnonymous will be there.
Yeah.
Whether we will, I don't know, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll come back.
Yeah.
Somebody will be there.
I don't work till
Someone.
3. So 4. Well, I'll be good.
There you go. Yeah, but it'll be our first beer festival pouring.
Good.
So we got you're gonna love our
They're so
canopy. Wait till you
fun.
see it.
Alright.
Yeah, it's totally San Diego Padre vibe. Our logo, as you can see, I'll pull this out for you guys. Oh, here, it's on my phone. So I got kind of the San Diego Padre hat, you know, like. Cool. But I wanted to stay true to my San Diego roots, and
there you go.
That's why we're opening in San Diego, even though I don't live down here anymore. I like paying for gas, apparently.
Hey, you're a San Diegan.
But it's in your heart.
3 local San Diegans in your LA, right?
Yeah.
Boo.
I mean, he's such
honorary. No,
he's being indoctrinated.
Look, he's
You've been baptized in our beers. You're good to go.
Well, thank you very
You're
much.
not a Dodger fan,
I feel like I can walk in both. I feel like I can walk in both territories.
I already bathed him in carne asada burritos before. I took him to a really famous place, Vallarta's.
I have an appreciation for both.
Vallarta's? Have you ever been to Vallarta's?
Oh, yes. That is the best carne asada in San Diego, for sure.
Yeah, I took him there, and he was just like, wow, you were right about these burritos. They're pretty good.
No, they're damn good. I mean, I have an appreciation for both, like, Mexican styles, you know?
For sure.
Just, LASD.
LA's got
Why can't
good
we all
food.
be friends?
I'm not going to knock on them.
But it's
We all
not
have
Mexican
good beer. We all have good food.
Why can't we just be friends?
Let's just be friends. It's okay.
And some good breweries, too, out in Los Angeles.
Tell me something, because a friend of mine, him and his family do Border X, and they know they put one out there.
Yeah.
But I'm not too familiar with the LA scene. I know the Orange County breweries, but
So
can you just tell me about some of the LA
Los
ones?
Angeles has a really good beer scene. It's definitely grown over the years. We shout out a couple of them, but like Highland Park Brewing is probably one of the best.
For sure.
For those Doyer fans out there, you can go to Highland Park. It's right by Chavez Ravine, and they make some very high quality IPAs. One of their gold medal winning beers is their Timbo Pilsner. Timbo Pils, that's like actually one of my favorite beers.
Timbo Pils.
But Highland Park is probably up there in terms of like one of my favorite Los Angeles breweries. And obviously just much like San Diego County, LA County is massive.
Right.
And there's so many breweries. But you go out kind of close to where he's at, going towards the kind of the coast there, like Ventura and Oxnard has some amazing breweries. Casa Agria in Oxnard is really good.
Casa Agria is insane.
Yeah.
Some of like that brewery's got like they do like adjuncted beers, like adjuncted stouts and porters.
Yeah.
In a way I've never tried it before. Like they nail it with like the dessert style beers, pastry style stouts in a way that I've never experienced before. Incredible beer.
Good one. Another one I like to shout out for Los Angeles, really close to the airport if you have to fly out of LAX. Not recommended right now. The construction's worse than San Diego's airport. But El Segundo Brewing.
Yeah.
Big time. They got the Stone Cold Steve Austin beers, right? Yeah, you got the Broken Skull IPA, right? It was really cool. I just, Brandon couldn't go with me, but we were invited to Lagerville up in, where is that? What city is that?
In Buellton?
Buellton, California.
Yeah.
So it was an all lager beer fest.
Oh, I gotta go to that
And
we gotta bring Hunter.
It
Hunter's
was
gonna win
amazing.
the award there.
Central Coast.
It was amazing. They had so many heavy hitters in the lager industry, like from all over. I mean, North Park Beer was there, and they had their lagers there. Tarantula Hill was there, which is another LA-ish brewery.
Right, Thousand Oaks, California.
Yeah.
So on the
Is that
border,
the valley? Is that like the San Fernando Valley?
A little bit
something?
further than the valley. It's basically on the border of Los Angeles and Ventura, but really good beer.
So there was a lot, but what I thought was cool about that lager festival was, El Segundo was there, and they had Stone Cold's beer there. But there was a brewery, and for Flub, I have to look through my stuff, but there was a brewery that came all the way from Australia. They brought their beers, and it was just really, really cool to meet and interact with them. I don't know if he's the owner or the brewer, but he knew who he listened to the podcast, and I was like, because I look at our stats, and there's like somebody that habitually listens to every episode in South Wales, Australia. And I was like, well, there you go. There's the answer to that one, because I'm like, I don't know anybody in Australia. So that's really cool to actually meet them, and their beers were amazing. I'm like, man, talk about a journey to a beer festival. I won't complain if someone invites me to a beer fest that's like 7-8 hours away. I got to look to those guys and be like, that is the longest plane flight you could possibly go on to come all the way to California for a beer fest. But yeah, Lagerville happens every year up in Buellton. So if you guys want some contact information with the owners of Figueroa Mountain, definitely hook you guys up, and maybe Hunter can go bring some lagers up there.
Totally.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so Well, we've gone through the gambit here at Hopnonymous. We've sampled through so many amazing beers. My Dear Watson, Two Amigos. What else we got? We got Daddy-O's. What's this one?
Got Integrity. Dorsey Lion.
That
was the Belgium.
And Big Fan.
Big Fundamental.
Big Fundamentals.
We call it Big Fun.
Big Fun. All right, I love
Big
it.
Fun.
And then, of course, this seltzer that we just tried was amazing. Everything was absolutely wonderful. So
sure.
I want to thank you, Matt, for inviting us, and CeCe for joining us on the podcast. This was a lot of fun. Throughout the show, you guys have listened to interviews with some of the artists here that we got to meet that are all part of the HopCon 2023, which is the first inaugural, and hopefully many more to come, because I can tell you, being a fan of comics and beer and everything, I think this is a spectacular event that you put together, very successful. So shout out to Remy, the owner of Hopnonymous Brewing. Thanks for allowing us into your house, as well as Hunter. You're doing a great job brewing these beers. Really phenomenal. So with that being said, Brandon, I think Matt and CeCe really are missing the boat if they don't meet Grandma.
I would love for Matt and CeCe to meet our grandmother.
Sure.
Yeah. So we're just going to go right into it. We're going to let you guys hear from Grandma. She's a part of every episode. But again, thank you guys for having us. Grandma, take us away.
They also practice by drinking the urine of a ram.
The what?
They drink ram's piss.
Because of the pH balance?
No, because if you can drink ram's piss, fuck, you can drink almost anything.
She said fuck.
Oh, what is the malted liquor? What gets you drunker quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans? Beer. Can't get enough of it. Beer. How we really love it. Beer. Makes me think I'm a man. Beer. I could kiss and hug it, but I'd rather chug it. Beer. My belly out to here. Beer. I could not refuse it. I could really use a beer. Beer. I can't remember how much I have had. I drank a 12-pack with my dad.